today's stop loss cluster video for the 1st of March for the QuasiDB service. We start with gold because I was saying how it was technically bearish, so we'll start with that. I just ended up saying about how gold has moved towards perhaps being a buy, but technically it's not that great, and the signal was saying to sell. So we'll go to the MyFX book. So maybe that gold bubble is going to be shifting now. I think that gold bubble is going to come across the axis. So if we get the trend line, we're bang on it now. This is the auto trend line indicator from FX SSI. So keep an eye on 1739. It's a bit strange because this would be bullish, but now it's just ticked up, so it could be a bit bearish. And if it does continue, then it's going to fall quite heavily because technically we're a sell. Let's have a look at S&P. So there was a line that I drew from yesterday. I can't quite remember why. And so yeah, monthly pivot. The new monthly pivot, of course, is 3813. And so this is last month's pivot. This is this month. So we had an upward projection from February to March is an upward projection, so that's bullish. And the new levels of interest is MR1 at 3962 and MS1, which I don't think it will come down here, to be honest with you, but 3662. This could be an important trend line. I can't quite remember what it was there for. I must have put it on there for a reason. So, but yeah, keep an eye on your monthly pivot, and assuming that we hold above 3813, we're bullish. Okay, so this is going to hurt the dollar if it comes up. If this comes down, which the MA is pointing, then it's going to help the dollar. AJ, where are we? The monthly pivot there, 82, 83 on the dot, 81, 88. Wait on the signal saying to buy. On the sentiment, signal saying to wait. SLC, oh god, 7802, 7690. This line to clean up my charts a bit. There we go. So this is month's pivot, and this is February's. So we had an upward projection, so that's bullish, but we are below monthly pivot. So remember that, 7759. So if we hold below that, it's going to be bearish for the rest of the month. So keep an eye on that level. EA, we're below March's pivot. SLC, 15701 and 15543. Signal saying to wait, buy on the sentiment, and they really sold it. They really shorted it there, and then went up. EU, now this is going to be good if it falls. It should fall because of the sentiment. Your moving average trend's bearish as well. Signal saying to wait. We're below monthly pivot, and you remember we closed below monthly pivot in February. So we're currently below both pivots. SSC above 12103. And this could be a contender, 12013. And check my technical analysis in the technical chat. We have got some support on the H4 coming up, which coincides with this blue box, which is that. So yeah, keep an eye on that, and we might trigger the SLC, and it could bounce. So keep an eye on your 12011. GU. This is good because we had that wedge shape, if you remember. I think it was H1. My memory's going terrible. Something like that, wasn't it? It was just like a very crude wedge. But there we had the break. In fact, it was there, if I recall. Something like that. Anyway, yeah, so the auto chartist was great for this because it said, you know, there's a bearish wedge, and we can see that the dollar's going to strengthen by looking at the bubble, but the pound bubble is also strengthening as well. So this is going to be incredibly important this week, And if this does fall, then it's going to be, you know, a reawakening of the Hulk, which is the USD. March's pivot's 139.09, and we might break it because we're breaking this wedge. So we are buying the sentiment and the signal saying to sell. And you? This is the largest stop loss cluster. Oh, there it is. And the SOC above 72.62, 72.16. It's them guys going long, so it's bearish. They went long up there, so it comes down. EJ. 128.92, 128.28. We're above the monthly pivot, so we know we're bullish because of that, and we're buy here. Signal saying to wait. LDN. Signal saying to sell. SOC 149.35 and 148.21. Now, because we had huge ranges in February, we'll probably find our ranges are huge on March as well. So there's a massive difference between pivot and MR1. So because of the crazy range that we had and the massive volatility that we had, so we have a long way to resistance and a long way to support. So it's going to be tricky to trade this one if we're looking at it from a pivot's perspective. But the signal's saying to sell, and it all depends, I think, on the pound bubble. And I think the dollar's going to probably win, but we have to have a risk-off scenario. That's really important. Dollar yen. This was another great one from Auto Chartist. This was saying how we had a breakout. I think it was on the daily. And it measured that line, which is interesting. I think it was that line, and so it was saying to buy because we had a breakout on that. So yeah, at the signal saying to buy on the daily, signal saying to wait on the hourly. SSC 106.81, and this is February's pivot. 103.98, and we're above monthly pivot, and we were above February's pivot for the majority of February. I think pretty much all of February we're above. Dollar CAD, this is an important level, 126.92. So that's your pivot for March. This signal saying to sell. We're 50-50, so be careful. SSC above. Needed so much patience with this. Mouse. I jinxed it. 127.44 and 126.65. Now the dollar Swiss is absolutely ludicrous where the SLC is. The SLC below is on monthly pivot, which is fine. 90.17. Come up. Come up. Keep going. Keep going. I was like, wow, this is where they've got their stops. So 104.54. So they're very risk adverse. They're so sure that it's going to fall, they put their stop so wide, and we can scoff at that. And you know, it could well be safe, but the moving average trend is bullish, and stochastics are bullish too. MACD's up, the parabolic SAR is up, and it's steady as well. So gold, yeah, I covered gold at the beginning, didn't I? So yeah, keep an eye on that level. It looks quite key. We're right on it now, 1738. And I think the gold bubble is going to be shifting today because of this, because we get our data from MyFX book. If they're going along, that gold bubble has to come off its extreme. If it was to come down, it would remain there, or it would continue westerly. And I think it's going to gravitate easterly now. And then that could be a strong USD case. So I'm going to wrap up now, and got some fairly exciting development about the COT data, so that we can pitch basket versus basket. So I've got like a tool that we can look at. I'll tell you more over the week. I will need to study it and how to implement it into Google Sheets, because it's an Excel template which Gordon gave to me today. So it's a case of migrating that data into Google Sheets, or I just simply copy and paste every Friday into Telegram. But there's some good analysis that we can look at from a data perspective. So hope you have a good day. I'll be around if you need me, and if not, I'll speak to you guys tomorrow. Have a good one.